The fourth player in league history to lead a 60-win team in scoring, rebounding, and assists. The other three, by the way, you've probably heard of. Will Chamberlain, Larry Bird, LeBron James.
I heard of those guys.
Good players.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. As the playoffs got set to go, Giannis spoke with Jamie Maggio.
Is there added pressure because you come in as a 1 seed? You guys kind of have the target on your back after having the best record?
No, I don't think there is pressure. Nobody expected us to be the #1 team in the NBA or to be #1 in the East. I think we're just having fun, playing well, and at the end of the day, no pressure is earned.
How do you explain the fact that your numbers have gone up? You're playing less minutes and your numbers have gone up.
I love playing basketball. I love playing a lot of minutes. I love just being out there. It was a struggling fight with Coach Bad at first because he told me, I think right before the first game, he said, you played 36, 37 minutes last year. I'm taking that now. And at first I was like, no, coach, I'd rather play 37 minutes. But at the end of the day, I got to see the bigger picture, which is to win the championship.
Looking at this matchup with the Pistons, scouting reports, how do you think the two teams match up against each other?
Obviously, they're going to try to score a lot of points in the paint. I think me and Brooke have done a great job protecting the paint and protecting our house, which is the paint. But they have a lot of shooters, and I think we have great perimeter defenders that can, make their life difficult.
Your name swirling in the MVP conversation, but now that the votes are in, the regular season is over, how relieved are you that that's not going to be a focal point now? Now it's just time to get to the playoffs.
I'm really relieved and happy about it. Nice in the past. The regular season is over. Now my main focus is the playoffs. And there's no MVP conversation in the playoffs. It's all about the playoffs.
This was the #1 defense in the NBA, the Milwaukee Bucks, and Pistons points in the paint could be at a premium against that Bucks D. They allowed the fewest points per game in the restricted area, the lowest percentage of shots in the restricted area, and the lowest field goal percentage in the restricted area. In other words, don't go in there if you're the Detroit Pistons. Fortunately for the Pistons offense, they're not heavily reliant on points in that area. And actually, they were #9 in the league in terms of made threes. It seems to me that they're going to have to hit a whole lot of them if they're going to beat the Bucks, or make this a longer series even.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough series. First of all, assuming Blake Griffin is healthy and can be at his best, that's going to be most important. But the perimeter, Reggie Jackson, Luke Kennard, who has shot the ball well as of late, the brotherhood.
Who?
Collectively as a group, they're going to have to shoot the ball extremely well from the perimeter. The problem is the perimeter defenders are really
also good.
I mean, they're very talented. I think Drummond is going to have to be a force, get Lopez in some foul trouble, try to now have Giannis or DJ Wilson or even Ilyasova guard him. And really be a presence inside on the glass. But it's tough because that's where Milwaukee excels, defending interior. So this is not a great matchup for obvious reasons. There's a reason why they have the record they have. But it's not looking great for my former team, the Detroit Pistons.
Well, and for the Pistons, obviously, we don't know Blake Griffin's situation at this point. He's missed games down the stretch because of this knee injury. He's still listed as questionable. I mean, what kind of a chance do the Pistons have if he's either unavailable or at 50% capacity?
If he's unavailable, if unavailable or 50%, they're getting swept. Like, they're going to need Blake Griffin to be on top of his game if they have a chance to even pull off what would be an incredible upset. So if he's not right, or if he's not able to go out there and play like the Blake Griffin that we're seeing in these highlights, it's going to definitely have an impact on the team. And it's just from a standpoint of, they asked Blake to do a lot. Like, this isn't old school Blake from his early on with the Clippers where they just ask him to dunk. He almost plays like point forward to a certain degree. He's all over the court. His game is really developed, and they use him almost like a movable chess piece. If he's not available, now their whole offense has to figure out, where do we go? You have other guys trying to step up in place of him that aren't used to doing that. And I think it's too much to overcome at this point in the season. We talked about a team like the Pacers. Their star had been out for so long, everybody got used to playing without him. Blake Griffin, he hasn't been out long enough for the team to say, hey, we know what our identity is if he's not playing.
Right.
And I think that will definitely step up and raise his head in this series if he's out for a couple of games.
Had his highest usage rate of his NBA career this season. I mean, they ran everything through Blake Griffin, particularly down the stretch. For Milwaukee, it has been 45 years since they reached the NBA Finals. They come into the playoffs with the best overall record in the league. What kind of a chance do you give them to end that drought?
I think they have a very good chance to make it to the NBA Finals this year. LeBron's gone. The big bad bully is no longer in the Eastern Conference. Debo is gone to the Western Conference, so everybody now has a shot. And so Milwaukee has just as good a shot as anybody else. When you look at Milwaukee, Toronto, Philadelphia, Boston, all these teams have a shot. They just have to come out there, play right, execute, and play to their strengths. And the biggest thing that Milwaukee has going for them is they have the best player maybe in the NBA right now in Giannis, who I think should be the MVP, definitely in the Eastern Conference. So if he plays strong, if he continues to develop and do what he does well, and that is get down the lane. We talk about what they do defensively in the paint. What Giannis does offensively in the paint is truly phenomenal. So if he continues to get downhill, dunk around the basket, create a problem, and then when they have to double and triple team, kick out the shooters, if they're hitting their shots, they'll be just fine, and they'll have a chance to go really, really deep.
They not only keep people from scoring in the restricted area, but Giannis led the league in points in the restricted area.
Good combo.
That's great. Well, in addition to Giannis, I mean, obviously he is, and I agree, the MVP this year, the way he's played and led his team, but the pieces around him. I mean, they complement him. They've played well. Middleton, Bledsoe's been, out of this role. I think Mirotic is coming back from an injury. Obviously, a complimentary piece. Brook Lopez. So they have surrounded the floor with those shooters who are shooting and playing at a great level this year. But Budenholzer has adjusted the offense, obviously centered around Giannis. Kept the floor space so he can go and dominate in the paint like he has done all season. So the guys around him, I think Middleton, Bledsoe, those guys are capable of having big moments. And then having a guy like a Lopez who's shooting at, whether he's hitting or not, just the fact that he's on the floor, his presence, forces that opening and spacing there, which is so essential to their success. So they get it done on both ends of the floor. They understand who they are. They understand their roles. They understand that Giannis is the guy that carries them. And they're playing as well as a team, as any team really. Just, that collective sort of spirit in that locker room is something that's fun to watch and why they've been so dominant all season.
Lopez's transformation may personify what the Bucks have done this season as well as anybody. Not only in terms of hitting threes, he's been doing that for a few seasons, but his defense is demonstrably better than it's been the rest of his career, including a career high in terms of blocks per game. By the way, the Pistons took note of all the Game 1 upsets yesterday with, teams like Orlando winning on the road. They like this whole road team win game 1.
Shots fired.
Locker room material. I like that.
It's the social media people.
It didn't go unnoticed.
forth.
It didn't go unnoticed.
Twitter beef.
Yep. They'll do the real thing later on today in Milwaukee. Pacers getting ready to go. Game 1 in Boston will